Greetings, avatars. FireLotus here, and welcome to the Release 27 Postmortem. We do these every month to get your feedback and give you a little bit of feedback on how we think this release has gone. Please remember that we're giving away lots of cool prizes, but in order to be eligible, we have to be able to find you. So please, please, please make sure you're using your display name in the chat window when you're asking your questions, and we'll go ahead and find you and get your prizes out to you. Well, that's enough of the business side. Let's turn it over to Starr Long.
Welcome, avatars. Thank you for joining us for the Release 27 Postmortem, where we'll answer questions and wax poetical and all those things. And at some of your requests, we will be doing shots. So for every $100 of new money raised during the Hangout today, I will do shots out of my Chaos shot glass provided to me by Casey of Cupcake fame, and that way the answers to your questions will become more interesting as we go on. I guess I don't have a sign.
We'll also be doing them with an official Casey shot glass, which means that not only will the questions start getting incoherent, we'll also probably be giving away way too many prizes.
That's correct.
Good point. So more prizes, more drinking.
Yeah. So this this is also a good opportunity. I don't have a sign drawn this time, but a warning that there will be rated PG-13 content. There may be swear words, allusions to sexual content. There will definitely be drinking.
We pretty much need that warning anytime Richard's on the Hangout.
Yeah. So you have been warned. So with all that said, as always, thank you for your support, without which we would not be making this product. Obviously, we are a crowd-funded product. You are providing the funds that let us make the product. You're also testing the product for us. You are giving us feedback. We're responding to that feedback. We're in a very functional feedback loop with you guys, and it is making a... Oh!
Hey, Starr, you're already up.
Yeah, we already have our first $100. Woohoo! All right, so starting off with the best. So here we go. I'm going to pour some in there. Ooh, here we go. Here we are.
Nasnedorovic.
Skål.
Yo.
Skål. All right. And I'm already spilling. Excellent. Release 27 was a really important release for us because that was the first release since announcing our final wipe and lot selection, and which meant that it was the first release where we really had a shift in focus, where we were moving towards that focus of moving to persistence in July and starting to fill out more of the world at a more rapid pace. That meant introducing faster-paced implementation of scenes by making clones of them and modifying some of the content, but taking a bunch of scenes, putting them in a new region, and then lather, rinse, repeat as we move through. So we think it's going very well. It's a first step for us getting the entire game playable from a story perspective from beginning to end. It was also the first release where we really started focusing on some initial polish on that new user experience. It's obviously not there yet, but we were getting started on it. And then under the hood, which you won't see yet, but hopefully you'll see in Release 28, we started a complete revamp on the avatars, starting with the male avatar, and hopefully you'll see that in Release 28. So we're very excited to see that because we know that that's kind of like the one last sort of critique we have for our visuals were the avatars. So we're happy to say that we're gonna make that better. So that's my sort of opening intro. Hand it off to Richard.
Whoop! Thank you. Thank you to unmute there, but yes, again, just echoing, thank you to everybody. We repeat it all the time, and but it does always bear repeating how the joy we have doing this with and for you. So thank you all very much for going on this journey with us. I, for one, am also very excited about coming up the goals we're pushing towards now in July. It's given the team extreme focus and sharpness on how to make sure we not only get everything into the game we want to by July, but also that it is of the quality level that we really want it to be by July. And so it's making all of us, take our bug reports and our task lists at a level of seriousness, you might say, that I think is good. Everyone, there's no question everybody feels this incredible sense of urgency as we're moving through this. Also, I don't think Starr mentioned, sorry that Chris isn't with us today. We normally have our third or fourth or fifth or sixth Horseman of the Apocalypse on with us. He's out ill today. I actually gave him a call about an hour ago, and he actually sounds pretty darn sick. So hopefully he'll be back with us tomorrow. But that does mean that we'll be avoiding some of the combat questions that we usually field, which means you might, might get to talk to me a little more than usual, since those guys, since Chris often is a fairly dominant voice. So if you want to talk about cannibalism or something, bring those questions on, because I'm here for you.
Or story or plot, because can we please stop talking about cannibalism?
Yeah, let's talk about story. That would be good. Yeah. One thing that was technically release 26, even though we're talking about the release 27 postmortem, we had our largest player event to date, which was the Shooter Jennings release party, which was both very exciting and very valuable for us as far as illuminating a bunch of issues we need to solve. And we got a lot of great data out of that, and we've already implemented some optimizations based on that, and we have a whole suite of things in the queue related to that we think will improve future events like that. So.
Well, in fact, it's probably worth saying too. I'm sure a lot of you that were there during the Countach launch events, we're acutely aware of things we expected to have happen, which was that we'd get too many people to fit into one instance. That was not unexpected, but we were hoping that each of the instances would perform better than they did, because we try to throttle things where they will. But most importantly, our tools of being able to manually manage who is in what instance and how to make sure that you all had FaceTime with the primary presenters of the evening. Those, I would say, utterly failed would be a good way to put it. But those are some of the things we'll be working on. We really couldn't talk to you very efficiently about it at the time, because frankly the problem was happening to us, in the sense of we ourselves were only capable of showing up in this one particular instance. We actually couldn't even step across those boundaries ourselves to go visit with other people in the other instances. So anyway, we have some work to do, including I'm not sure it's public knowledge, Starr, about how we're going to work to make sure that we can be seen. Do you want to describe that, or is that still R&D enough? It's okay?
Yeah, go for it.
So one of the things that we're working on is, you guys are probably all familiar with the fact that we really do have one reality going at all times. So if you put a house down, for example, that house shows up in every instance at that time. The only reason we need to drive instances is that players, the I/O and AI demands of players and NPCs adds up to too much, plus a rendering time for that many players adds up to too much to keep everybody all in one instance. But because we do technically have things, there is some information that's passing back and forth to all the instances at all times, and so we're something coming up in the queue here is the ability for our principals, developers, or whoever is we think might need to be ordained to do a presentation to a body of people that is bigger than one instance. We believe we'll have that capability to create effectively shadow forms of a sort that will transcend individual instances, so that we can lead events that have an even larger number of participants. So that's something at least I'm looking forward to, and it would have helped a lot during the Countach release party. Hopefully we'll get some progress there coming soon.
So real quick, we're about to do prizes, but before we do prizes, players who follow our stand-up notes have noticed that there are a couple of new names that have appeared, and one of them has just appeared here next to me. So if you can sort of bend down and get in frame, this is Reed Rollo. Reed has joined us on the art team. He is, part of the performance optimizations we are doing is we are going through all of the buildings in the game, and we are creating low-level collision objects for them to optimize the testing we need to do for collision when you're in that scene. It'll also help with things like make it so you don't have the camera colliding with every single pillar, every single beam inside of a building. So that's what Reed is doing. Yeah. So say hello, Reed. Tell everyone your name and a little bit about. Tell them what you've done in the game business, if anything, and like maybe a hobby or what you do for your spare time.
Well, I'm Reed Rollo. I am a recent graduate of the Art Institute of Austin, so this is my first industry gig, which is really cool. It's an awesome place to be. And yeah, my hobbies are I like to play music and skateboard in my free time, stuff like that.
I used to skate.
Yeah.
But terribly. So hopefully you're a better skater.
I'm not good either.
All right, great, excellent. We can bond on that. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and Reed's rocking it. He's you can see in the stand-ups, he's cranking through one or two buildings every single day. So that's gonna slowly but surely that's gonna represent a significant improvement in performance. So.
Yeah, especially.
And Reed, the community is really digging your beard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been working on it.
All right. Thanks, Reed.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Now,
you guys.
Thanks. Time for some prizes. So let's start with this heart-rendering father-son postcard of Richard and his father from the ISS.
And by the way, just to give some color commentary on what that is called a QSO card. That is because both my father and I are ham radio operators. We're the first, not only father-son astronauts, but first father-son ham radio astronauts. And so that is a very special card commemorating that. Really are very few of those out in the world. There's a lot of stuff you'll see on eBay. I don't think I've ever seen one of these ever on eBay because they're so rare.
And the winner of that card is Grichel. Grichel wins the QSO card from space.
And let's do a $5 store credit, too.
All right. $5 store credit goes to Starlord. Starlord actually, Starlord gets the $5 store credit.
Hey, Starlord!
Woohoo!
Starr is, wait a minute. Go on, never mind.
Okay. All right, let's start with the questions. FireLotus.
Okay, our first question comes from PKU, and he would like to know if we'll ever be able to bind to a scene versus just a town lot or town crier.
That's a good question, and I think this is it's a good question because this came up because of Ultima Online, and in Ultima Online you could pretty much bind anywhere. And we for now are intentionally confining it to just being able to bind where there are player properties as a way to get to and from your player property or a town if you don't own property in that. We may loosen that up later, but that's currently the plan. So the answer is right now it's going to be confined to just towns. We may loosen it up later, but don't count on it. And Lum just reminded me that was meant to be a $10 store credit, not a $5 store credit. My mistake. So that was so Starlord, you got a $10 store credit, not a $5 store credit. So just to be clear. Okay. All right. Next question.
Our next question is a little bit related. It comes from Eclipse Maiden, and she would like to know. Since we're able to have up to 3 homes, shouldn't we be able to bind to all 3?
So I'm going to answer 2 parts. So first of all, we don't actually limit you the number of properties you can own. So you can own lots of properties. And as far as why we're not allowing you to bind on more than one, well, for multiple reasons. One, it gives it basically lets people with multiple properties create their own instant sort of teleportation subway system between their properties, and gives a very, very, very high level advantage to property owners versus everyone else. And that's why, we had teleport to friend be basically a little bit more powerful than bind and recall, which allows you to teleport to any friends or online. And I realize that this has caused quite a bit of debate in the game amongst the players. Again, we reserve the right to modify that at a later date, but we're pretty firm that it's going to be one bind point, and we think that is the best way to balance the game currently.
And by the way, like Starr said, this is, these are rules that are easy to change over time if we decide we need to. So don't fear any of these feeling like it won't create a fun or well-balanced game. If it turns out some of these tools interfere with trade, we'll find a way to throttle them down so they don't interfere with trade. If they're not interfering with trade, but it would be more convenient, then we'll throttle things up to allow that as well. So we're pretty good. We feel pretty strongly this is close to the right way, but if we're wrong, we will correct it.
All right, so next question.
Our next question comes from Wolfton, and I apologize if I get your name, garble your name. I try my best. Can you push the ability to choose different player-owned town zones and points ahead of the post-wipe schedule?
Yes. And so this is, for those not familiar, this is the tool that allows player-owned town owners to pick from a set of placed entry points, whether it's like in the east entry point or the west entry point or the center of town. So when players arrive into the scene, they don't necessarily arrive at the same standard location. Right now, that's currently on the post-wipe schedule, and this is a request to do it sooner. And I understand, and there's actually a whole set of these, and I understand. There's a while this one seems the most important to you, there's a whole suite of these that are the most important to, quote, everyone. So public gardens is one that I saw just the other day. And so, there is no way that we can take all the features that are scheduled for post-wipe and do them pre-wipe. And there's also no way that we can make any one of these more important than any of the other items that we have in the schedule pre-wipe. And so anything that we would pull into the schedule before wipe would require us to push something else out. And so there's nothing that we have currently scheduled for pre-wipe that we believe is worth pushing out for something like entry point selection or public gardens. So sadly, the answer is no, and it's going to have to wait to post-wipe.
And I think a way for people to really understand that is also you can think about this issue yourself in that if the issue in question will fundamentally change the reliability of our final wipe, then we're going to want to do it now. So in other words, if there was a fundamental data structure that would make a big change in your ability to start a new life with confidence, we would want to fix those ahead of the wipe. Anything else we think is fair game to be before, during, or after. And we'll still do as much as we can before, but the compelling ones to pull in are the ones that would affect the quality of the final wipe.
All right, and it's time for another prize. And we are going with the space theme for the first section of all our prizes. So, woohoo! We have.
Hey, so here, I'll introduce that too. That is the Soyuz TMA-13 patch that is the flight I got a chance to fly on. It has my name on it, Gary Itz, Mike Fink, the American astronaut, Yuri Lonchikov, cosmonaut, our commander, the 100th launch ever, the three of us as Titan 1, 2, 3 holding up the Earth, the Titan was Yuri's call sign. We used that for our group call sign. And 17 little cross-shaped stars for the 17 people who've died on their quest to or from space. And that was our mission patch. So who gets that, Lum?
Mekong gets the TMA 13 mission patch.
Hey, excellent, Mekong. Hope you enjoy it.
All right. Back to the questions.